Thanks for joining. So it's a little bit different today, or this show, because this is we're going to go over some memorabilia, and all of this stuff has to come down because it is well, let's just say it is needing to come down. It is I'm moving, and with moving I have to pull all this stuff down. I got to repair, I got to do behind the wall, so I got to do it before I move. So the next several shows are actually going to have, like, I don't know what back there, but that's what it's going to be. So anyway, welcome, and let's see here. We're just going to go over some of the stuff that I got here. A little story time, which should be fun. And let's see, no, not made for kids. My goodness, this my new setup here. I mean, it's great, but sometimes it's not too. So it just all depends. All right. So anyway, back in the day when MMOs were just becoming popular, I had this license plate. It's not art, but it should be, right? Yeah, so anyway, I got that. And then I also got one when I was in Florida. And I had a nice Goldwing. I ended up selling the bike, got rid of it, and it, you know, it's all good. It's all good. So, okay. Now, I've got all this art up here, and I'm going to have to kind of pull it down carefully, and then we're going to stack it down here, but we're going to go through the stuff first. And the very first thing to show y'all is probably the biggest piece. And so, it is this right here, and it's heavy. I don't know, how's that work? Oh, hey, you can actually kind of see it. Yeah, so while this is not video game related, this is, you know, in the realm of those kind of things that video game players like. Got this signed by everybody but one person in the cast, and that one person that didn't sign happens to be the guy right in the middle because he wanted like $1,000 to sign. And that just wasn't going to happen. So, anyway, yeah, very nice piece. I really like that one. The next biggest piece, let me see if I can get it here. I'm going to have to pull something else out of the way first. Oh man, this is dusty. All right, let's see here. So this is the next biggest piece here, and many of you probably remember Ultima Online. If you don't, it is it was the first large-scale MMO, and it is one of my favorite. Gosh, we got a lot of glare on this, don't we? Maybe like this. And so I used to go to a lot of video game type events and everything, and I went and spent a weekend at EA. EA had control of this game at the time, and so I went and spent a weekend in Redwood Shores, California, and hung out with a bunch of other Ultima people and everything, and had a few people autograph this for me. The best part is Binky, who has a whole bunch of video game related tattoos and everything, and he drew his tattoos here on the troll's arm. So that was pretty nifty. All right, let's see if I can put this up against this other one without wrecking anything. Ah, yes. Very good. Okay. So you saw this other thing I pulled down here. Also, not necessarily video game related, but kind of. And so this is all of the bunch of insignias from Star Trek and communicator badges. It's also, I realize now that I'm pulling this stuff down that it's not been dusted in quite a while. So, but that's okay. And so this was one of the last gifts my ex-wife gave me. I kept it because it's cool, even though she's not. Yeah. So, there we have it. Can somebody give me a little zing on the end of that? Well, this needs to come down too. Boy, you really need to be dusted off. He really needs to be dusted. Yep. So, all right. You can just stay here for a minute, maybe. Yeah. One of my kids gave me that. Let's talk another Ultima thing here. This is, let me see if I can move this and we can still hear okay. Let me know if you can hear me okay still. I hope so. This is Ultima X Odyssey. Golly, these things are so dusty. You can't hardly see it. I'm gonna have to clean all these up. So, anyway, Ultima X Odyssey. This game never came out. It was never released, and I went and saw the game. Flew to California, EA again, Redwood Shores, and they took us. We had dinner in a museum, and the dinner was mutton and mead. I didn't much care for the mead. Some people really dug it. Some people dug it too much. And but they showed us something very, very interesting. It was the first time I had seen a video game in 360 degrees. So they had it set up so that they had these projectors in this rotunda, and they had probably like 8 projectors set up, and it was 8 different views of the game going all the way around. So when they'd move, the whole thing would go around, and when they look up, down, and everything, and so it's like a complete 360 degree view of the whole thing. It was pretty cool. So anyway, they decided to scrap this game and not have it come out because they were doing too well with Ultima Online, and they did not want it to take away some of the players, so they scrapped it. Yep. Game was officially scrapped because it was going to be too good.
Welcome to the Dragons.
That's EA for you. So, Mr. Ganjakush, thank you for following. Welcome. All right, now we're going to go for some Eve. This one's big. And this one's beautiful. This is another really nice piece that I've got here. Let's see here. Can we get it to where you can see it? There we go. So this is, it's also very dusty. This is the Proteus in Eve. And Pan, who now some of you have seen from, she's now with Dual Universe. Pan sent me 3 pictures, and they're all these high res. I mean, this is an actual like printed photograph type thing. And I used to have all 3 of them. I only have this one left. Proteus, one of my favorite T3 cruisers from the game. And this has got to be version like, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago, something like that. But anyway, yeah, another great piece of art. And thank you again, Pan, for that. That was many, many moons ago that she gave me that. So, let's see here. Well, hey, now that I'm pulling this down, it's not quite art, but maybe it is. This is a ship from EVE Online, ship model. This is the Apocalypse, and again, very dusty. So we actually have, do I have a Raven here? I do. Let's see here. Let me grab the Raven. Because the Raven, we actually have one of these models we're giving away. I hadn't thought about this until just now. This is the Raven, and this model weighs probably about, I don't know, 3 pounds or so. It's very delicate, and anyway, exclamation point giveaway. We're giving one of these away this month. This is our monthly giveaway, and and so we're giving one of these away, and you all can get a free entry in on it. It's worth, we estimate, around $500 or more, and you can't buy these anywhere anymore. And so you can get one of these. We'll announce the winner one of the first shows of next month. So, all right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to be putting this away too. Okay. Let's see, I'm gonna do these in order, I think. Now, another big picture here. Me with hair. Well, it was up here instead of down here. And this was many years ago. I had this this picture was originally in black and white. No, was it originally in black and white? No, it was originally color. It was taken on one of the first digital cameras. It was probably like 0.5 megapixel, something like that. And it was amazing we got it blown up this big. But this was a group that we called SixNet. And basically, SixNet was a FidoNet network for BBSs. And this guy right here ran our main node. This group went on to do all kinds of interesting things. Dennis here, he worked for me for many years and everything, computer store and stuff, which I'm going to show you some computer store stuff next. And these two guys went on to become computer engineers and everything. And basically what we were doing was, this is back in the dial-up days, when you could when AOL disks were very plentiful. And So we had this network that we were part of called FidoNet that we had set up. And basically what it would do is it would have your computer call another computer on the phone and would transmit any messages and pick up any messages. And then they would all go through the network nodes. And if you wanted to, and what was so amazing about this is that if you wanted to send, like I'm in the USA, and I wanted to send a message to somebody in Australia, I could get it there in about a week and get a reply back in about 2 weeks total. And that was groundbreaking, because in order to communicate that kind of distance over any kind of mail, this is pre-email, by the way, to communicate over that distance via postal mail would take you at least 2 months round trip. And so anyway, it was pretty groundbreaking. I didn't know anybody in Australia or anything, but just the whole deal of it was pretty groundbreaking. And we sent messages to each other, and in fact we had some BBS door games that actually would communicate with each other at night via this network, and would then update like high score boards and stuff like that. It was kind of cool. So you notice that one of these guys is grayed out, and he was murdered. So the guy down here, he was murdered, and he was the strangest guy in the group. So he was into pirating software and into nudie pictures, and you know, back then, like these days, I mean, you can even Google nudes if you wanted to, whatnot. But back then, you had to know what BBSs to go to that would have pictures of naked people, and you know, and then you would spend, I seriously, like, what, did my computer just lock up? Oh, there we go. You would spend, seriously, like 20-30 minutes downloading a single image. And you could actually watch it draw line by line and everything, because pictures took an incredible amount of data to transfer, as opposed to like drawings or pixel art or stuff like that. And anyway, he was murdered, and probably rightfully so. His BBS, we found out later, well, he had all these protections on it. He only allowed certain people to go into it and all of that stuff. And then he also had other stuff, like he lived in this trailer, and he had his doorway wrapped in coil, so that he told us this, you know, some of the stuff made sense after the fact, after we figured things out, after we knew. But he would say things to us like, oh yeah, you know, if the police ever come and seize my computers or whatnot, that they'll all erase on their way out the door, because I have this giant coil there creating a magnet around his door. Well, it doesn't quite work that way, but that's the kind of things he would say. And so we all thought he was a little bit nuts, and we all thought that he was referring to things like having some pirated software and everything. Little did we know that the nudie pictures that he had on his BBS were not adults. We didn't know that. I didn't have access to, I don't think I was even a member on his BBS or anything. We didn't know that. What we did is, we found out one day, we saw news. We saw him on the news. And he was in the news as being busted as like this major source for kiddie porn. And so all of a sudden, when we heard that, all the rest of us, we all called each other, because some of us had kids, and we're all like, check with your kids. You know, hopefully didn't have any contact with them or anything. We had him over to our house more than once. He was never left alone with the kids, but we had him over at our house before. And so you just don't know who these people are and everything. Anyway, he got convicted. He went to prison, and about a month after he was in prison, another inmate killed him. And so then we saw that on the news too, because we never saw him again once the story broke on this. But then it all made sense to us about all of this stuff that he talked about protecting all the information on his computers and how it was all going to erase if they were seized or whatnot. And I thought, big deal over some pirated software. I mean, we just thought he was taking things too far. Well, he did. He took it way too far and in the wrong direction. So anyway, when I had this picture blown up and framed up, we left him in black and white. So kind of as to remember about him, but that he doesn't matter nearly as much as the other people here. And that's why that guy is in black and white. And it's kind of an awful story, but it's life. You don't know who you are in contact with. So anyway, that's what happened there. Okay. I know. Whoever thought that story would go there? That's so dark. Okay, well, we're going to pull this down first. This is a Tempest. We have like the Raven that we're giving away in our store right now. We've given away Tempests here before. I don't know if we have any more of these or not. But anyway, Tempest. And move this out of the way so that no harm comes to it. Oh, it's too tall for there. All right, I'll put it up here. I'm pulling down these shelves, and so, yeah, I'm gonna have to do things a little different here. All right, let's see if I can get this down. Oh, what is this stuck up here? What is that? Oh, it's glue that melted. I wouldn't have thought it would get that hot. It's like glue or something from the pads that you would use to protect a wall. All right. It melted a little bit. So, this here, let's get a little bit closer here. This one. In fact, let me see if I can get close enough to where you can read that. We dare to show you the cost. All prices listed are at cost plus 10% for cash sales, meaning that credit card is going to be a little bit more. This is Computer Bits magazine, and it was from July 1997. So this was my store, and so I had a computer store for I don't know about 3 years, and then I sold it. And we were loved by customers, hated by our competition, and so we did this cost plus 10% thing because where we figured out things were going back in this time period was that the money was not to be made in the hardware, because everybody was undercutting everybody else in price. There was no kind of price controls or anything like that were in place to help keep stuff steady. And so we could not actually compete on price, because what would happen is everybody would just go to wherever the lowest price was, and then they would get the hardware, and then they would turn around and they would go to like they would go to their local computer store or their friend or whatnot, and then have them help them install it. So what we decided was to do the cost plus 10%, and that would cover our transaction costs and everything for the hardware, but then we would offer good service on installing the parts at a good price, and we did really, really well with that. But at the same time, what happened is that our competition got extremely angry with us because they were not willing to go that low on price, and we were showing cost on stuff. We showed the cost of what it was and then add 10%. We had suppliers coming to us saying, you can't show our price list on there, that's not okay. And our answer to them was, you're not our only supplier. That price may not be yours. It may be that we're getting that from someplace else. So they left us alone. They didn't quite know what to do with us. Nobody else had done anything like this. We had so many people. We used to open up at like 10 o'clock in the morning, whatnot, but then we'd have 10, 15, 20 people waiting at the door. So then we're like, okay, well, let's open up at 9:30 then. Well, same amount of people waiting every morning. And then we were, then we were at, I don't know, we got all the way as early as 8 a.m. And we still had people waiting at the door, but we just couldn't get staffing. We were at a point where opening at 8 a.m. and closing at like, I don't know, 8 p.m. or whatnot. We had troubles. We were going to have to hire more staff. I didn't want to do that. So I didn't see any point in opening up at like 7 a.m. or whatnot at a computer store. So we didn't, and we had lines of people every morning waiting to buy stuff, and we were getting an incredible amount of stuff in. I don't know how much we were actually doing in sales. If I remember right, we were somewhere between 300,000 and 500,000 a month in sales of hardware, and then we were probably doing 150,000 a month in service. And see, in the service, you just pay for your labor costs, and so that was a good amount. And we had, I'm not even sure how many people we had working for us. It was a lot, and it was really varied on whether or not they were, getting high pay, or whether or not they were more like apprentice, which getting paid a little. And but everybody was working their asses off. And so anyway, another lesson I learned from this company was that you always read your contracts. Why? Because, well, I sold this company to another company, and I was supposed to get a payout of $386,000, and they were to take on the debt that the company had, which I think was around $80,000, and everything else that was going on with the company. And so in effect, I was selling it for like $450,000, $460,000, something like that. And so I was so busy with everything that they wrote up a contract for this and stuff, and I just didn't read it. I just didn't read the contract. Now I read every contract anally. I mean, I go through it all, anything I don't understand, I get it figured out, everything. And because in the end, I sold my computer store for about $300, and I kept all of the debt because I didn't read the contract. So they took advantage of me. They really did. They took serious advantage of me. They knew that I was just not reading anything. I was too busy. I just wasn't paying attention. And so our initial notes that we had in writing and stuff and everything, it didn't make it into the contract. And so then the very next thing that I did that had to do with the contract was refinancing my house. And when I was refinancing my house, I sat and I read the entire damn contract and figured everything out on it. And this is back in the day where they didn't just email it to you and then you know would look it over, have your lawyer look it over, and then you know sign it digitally. This was sitting in front of another person who's a loan officer and everything. And we ended up that our meeting was at like 4 o'clock, and I told him, I said 4 o'clock is not early enough because I plan on reading the contract. And they're like, okay, yeah. So at around 6 o'clock, so they closed at like 5, around 6 o'clock, they had somebody go and get dinner for us. We finished up, I remember, about 8 o'clock at night, and got it all taken care of. I made sure I did not miss a thing on that contract. And I have not missed a thing on any contract since. At least I have not missed anything that cost me dearly. So anyway, that was my computer store. First big business that I had. And so, all right. Now, I've got some more art here. And let me, I'm going to pull one off the wall over here. I'm going to show you all something that is also, you know what, I think Pan signed this one too. I've known Pan, who's at Dual Universe right now. I've known her for so long. I think she was working with Richard Garriott on Tabula Rasa. And anyway, this is an original picture of the original way that the game was supposed to be. So Tabula Rasa was Richard Garriott's vision to be a game, an MMO that was a different way of thinking, and very much a different way of thinking. Like, the bards in the game were very important because they would use sound waves to, you know, affect the creatures and stuff like this. Not just kind of in the traditional barding, but they could use sound as a weapon. And not just to like remote control the creatures, they used the sound to damage them and everything. And so it was a very interesting MMO. This was signed by the whole dev team, and this was pre Electronic Arts forcing their hand on, no, it was NCSoft. NCSoft forcing their hand on putting in PvP, because there was no PvP in this. And so what they wanted to change it to was a large-scale warring type of game. And so they then put it together, you know, of, you know, one side versus the other and everything. They still had these strange weapons and everything, but the game was not the vision of Richard Garriott at that point. It was not what he had in mind. It was not what he intended on releasing. So this one is the original, what he originally intended on doing. And the game didn't last for very long, only a couple of years. And there was a big legal battle between Richard Garriott and NCSoft because the failure of the game, it went something like this, where they decided to not pay him $35 million that was owed for delivering the game. And so he sued them for it, and he won. When he won that, he put his money down to be the first civilian to go to the International Space Station. And there's a documentary about that. So he did not make it, though, to be the first. And that is because he that is because he couldn't put all of the money down or whatnot because of this legal battle, and so he swapped positions with someone else, and a Japanese fellow, I believe, was the first one. And so what he did is he sold his spot to the other guy to be able to afford the rest to lock in being second. And he eventually won that lawsuit. And of course, the rest is history. He might even be the first multi-generation to go to space, because his father was an astronaut. Owen Garriott, I think, was his name. So anyway, speaking of Garriott, here is a goofy picture of Richard Garriott and I, him as Lord British. And oh, you can read everything on my screen there, huh? Yeah, all this glare, man. So and that's a pretty goofy picture of me with my handlebar mustache that was really weird looking. I don't know what I was doing at the time, but anyway, that was some good times. I've known him for many years, and in fact, he asked us to partner with them on Shroud of the Avatar, and we're still partners with the game, even though he is not. I don't think he's active with development of the game anymore. So, but yeah, and you can see Shroud of the Avatar and Richard Garriott in the documentary Play Money, which I'm in. Oh, here's another Tabula Rasa thing. All right, this is one of the things I was talking about having weapons that were sound. This was one of the characters that was you know, did sound as their weapon. This is 2004. Holy cow. 2004. So that was that's signed by the artist there, and that is cover of Computer Games Magazine. So, yep. What's the other stuff? Hands-on with World of Warcraft before they knew what it was, because World of Warcraft actually came out in 2005. Ex-EverQuest designers unveil Vanguard, and then exclusive Tabula Rasa, the creator of the Ultima returns, massive multiplayer game that's out of this world, and then sneak peeks: Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, Freedom Force versus the Third Reich, Dungeon Siege 2, Stalker, and Evil Genius. All right. And then this is more, I've shown this recently. This is more movie memorabilia or television show. This is FUB5. And let's see here. Man, there's so much glare here. This, let me see here. Can we do it this way? No, that one has a whole bunch of glare too. All right, so FUB5, and this is the cast of Babylon 5. Many of them signed it. Half of these people are dead in real life. I kid you not. Half of these people here are dead in real life. It's the curse of Babylon 5, and so many of them died within the first 10 years after the series, and then what's her name here? She just died maybe 6 months ago, something like that. And but a lot of them died early. And so that was kind of why they called it like the curse. So anyway, and then I got just a couple more pieces of art here that are really more so art than anything else. Got this right here, which was, it is the signed by Lord British. It came in the Ultima Collector's Edition, the Ultima 9 Collector's Edition, and which is a very large box. I even have that box around here. Ah, there it is. Yeah, let me grab the box real quick and just show you. It is one of the largest game boxes that there are. And so it's pretty big. And Ultima Ascension, Ultima 9. And so, yeah, these were excellent graphics when it came out. It supports 3DFX. Oh my God. Yeah, I forgot about those video cards. I used to have one, and it supports Creative Labs sound cards. So I don't know when this came out. I don't see a date here anywhere. But anyway, that was a good game. We'll show more of that probably tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm going to be going through all of the other stuff. You know, this guy here, I feel like he's in my way. And you can actually see the back of my chair here. I have a Crowfall shirt that really well worn. Maybe it even needs to be washed. Yeah, it's been on the back of my chair here for years, covering the back of the chair. I used a t-shirt to hold a pillow here. Yeah. So, all right. Oh, just a couple more items. And this is fan art. It was sent to me, and by Favor here in our chat. He's one of the admins and stuff. He redid the dragon head in some sort of resin here on this. Very delicate piece. Anyway, okay. Well, that's pretty much it for the artwork. And so we're tomorrow we'll go over the video game, the rest of the video game stuff, and I got to pull all this other stuff out of here. It's gonna be a job. You see the blanket up there? That's a moving pad. Yeah, we did that for Hurricane Irma, which passed right over our house. And so anyway, that is it for today. I will see you all tomorrow with Dual Universe and with then with the rest of the video game memorabilia, and yeah, tearing all this down. Hopefully my new studios works out really nice. We shall see. So, all right, YouTube, thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing. And Twitch, we'll